So, you got pardon me as I smoke, right? I say this because listen to this conversation. This is called Canibus Life. I got this from Canibus Life. I mean, it's on Facebook. It's on the internet, right? But I'm sitting here like, yo, look. Like I smoke a cigarette. I mean, I do me. I chill. YOLO.
My song's on turn on the radio. That's my song, boy, turn up the radio. That's what she tell you, boy, turn up the radio. That's my song, boy. That's my song, boy. That's my song, girl, turn up the radio. That's my song.
WFTL.
The following is a paid program. The content has been provided by Green Roads. WFTL, its staff, management, and ownership are not responsible for the content. Some of the opinions and endorsements provided herein were in exchange for compensation from Green Roads.
Welcome to Florida's only cannabis radio program. Welcome to Canibus Life Radio. This is Florida's most unique radio program. This is Canibus Life Radio.
Canibus Life Radio is live.
Woo! Pushing the envelope, baby. Pushing the envelope.
Hot mic.
Hot mic.
Yes.
Hot
This
mic.
is Florida's only cannabis radio program. I'm Leon Hamilton along with R.B. Barroso, Cheryl Murray Powell, and a cast of thousands.
Hey guys, we're in the building.
In
We
the
missed
building.
you.
I just want to do a quick shout out to Espresso out of California. That was their song.
Was
They're
the
coming
song we
out.
just played?
That was the
What was
song
the
they
song?
just played.
What was the name of the song?
It's called Spaceship.
Spaceship.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And shout out to my daughter, Alexi out there, and to Alex, Colin, and Dash for putting that tune together. And hopefully, best of luck for them and their new album.
Good luck in the future.
I was jamming.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
yeah,
pretty
I
nice.
saw you. I saw you jamming.
I was like, who's
Saw you
that?
jamming.
Who's that?
Yeah, let's talk cannabis. What's going on this week?
There's
Well,
a lot of stuff
yeah.
going on.
I
Go
mean,
ahead,
a
Cheryl.
great,
What's
great,
going on?
great
The main
victory
thing.
as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to go out of state for a moment. Is
Okay.
Las Vegas.
Las
so
Vegas is
Las
huge.
Vegas going
Huge.
recreational.
Nevada is huge.
July 1st.
$5 million
there was
the
a
first weekend?
legislator who was the first person
Yeah.
in line.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, we've progressed.
Yes.
We've gotten really far. We got to celebrate that. I think that makes the 9th recreational state. Is that or
9.
the 6th?
I think it's 9.
Is it 9?
I think it's
getting
9
up
that have
there.
been approved
Okay.
anyway that have not been
completely
enacted. Yeah.
functional
Yes.
recreational states. That's huge. A lot of people, they don't understand what recreational means for patients even. So they're saying,
Right.
oh, well, patients can get it if it's in a medical state. But the anonymity, the fact that you don't have to get a card, be on a registry,
Right.
that means everything to a lot of patients.
Exactly.
So recreational is huge. It's about freedom, and it's about people not keeping track of all your data, all your information, what your ailment
And
is.
we know that's a problem.
It's a
Yeah.
huge issue. There's controversy around our current legislation and the requirements being HIPAA compliant. We haven't even addressed that issue. We've been trying to get something in place, but then now we need to look at what are we disclosing, what's on the registry, who has visibility to it, and is that the whole process HIPAA compliant? With the recreational state, someone can be anonymous, go and get the medicine that they want, and not have to go through the process of having their information out there.
And plus meeting certain requirements to get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Exactly.
it opens the door for everybody. I
Right.
mean, there should be no reason why that person should be under a registry.
Right. Shouldn't have to jump through hoops
whether
to get
it's
there.
for their job's sake,
Yeah.
because they might work for somebody that actually doesn't approve of that, and I think that's wrong because they could walk into a doctor's office and get a prescription of Percocets or OxyContin and
Right.
continue to
10
work.
minutes,
Why
yeah.
should they have to worry about taking the medicine that they choose to? That's first safer for them
Right.
than anything else. I mean, the registries I think should be thrown out. There should be some type of regulation so you're not going to 20 different dispensaries, but at the same time on a rec side, let us grow it ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, we should be able to grow our own medicine in our own backyard and go from there, and then they'll see all this would just disappear.
Right.
So the more rec, the better. I just think obviously most states can't start rec. just because of the issues,
Right.
including
Can't
here
just
in
jump
Florida.
right into it, I
You can't
guess.
just jump right
Right.
into it, but I think in the near future, it's definitely something that's going to be in the forefront.
You want to introduce
Yeah,
our guest?
I was just about to say.
I was about to say
would-
that. First,
So
I want to
rude.
say we're.
You're so rude.
But I'm not rude.
I know. I'll take
that's-
the,
you're
I'll
the-
take the
you're the
rude
rude
helmet
one.
for today because this is my good friend Barry
Cheryl's
Buten.
rude.
Yeah,
Cheryl's rude.
I'm
Okay,
the rude
then we're
girl.
all in
I'm
agreement.
a rude
It's Cheryl.
gal, like Rihanna today. So I have a really good friend of mine, Barry Buten. He's an attorney. He is the co-chair of the Broward ACLU, and he has always been an advocate for freedom and the rights of citizens. He has supported me as I've had town halls across Broward County when we were talking about police shootings and community policing, some solutions-based discussions with law enforcement. He's always there, willing to be a panelist and support in any way possible. He's gotten internal regulations as far as how the police train their law enforcement, just so I'd have that perspective as I'm planning these events as an activist. So we've gone out to lunch numerous times, and we've just as a new attorney, when I first got barred, he was one of my first attorney
You got barred?
friends.
What'd you do?
That's a
barred me.
positive
You went out
thing.
drinking,
Florida bar
didn't
let
ya?
me in.
That's That's actually
I
a
gotta
positive
get up with
thing,
another
Andy.
state too, just in case they take it back. But Barry was one of the first people to reach out to me, and he was a friend to me, and he answered a lot of my questions as a new practicing attorney. So I appreciate that.
It's great to be here.
Yes.
Thank you
Good
for
to have you.
joining this madness. Thank you, Barry.
You want to talk about what you do and how you you're
Sure.
a criminal defense attorney as well.
Right, that's what I do for a living, criminal defense attorney. You get lots of calls for the ACLU. I've been involved since 1983. So many of the politicians, public officials, and chiefs of police know who I am and know I won't back down when somebody's civil liberties are violated. I love to speak to groups. It's awesome. One of our big pitches for the ACLU is the voting restoration of rights for people. We're only one of 3 states. Could you believe that in 2017 only 3 states don't have automatic restoration? We're trying to get a constitutional amendment. We've gotten lots of signatures. We need 700,000 by the end of the year to get on the ballot next year, and we think if we get on the ballot, we'll win. There's 1.5 million voters that have served their sentences and done their probations and done everything, and they're dying to vote. We only had 55% vote last time, so 45% weren't dying to vote even though they had that right. These people want to vote. They want to participate in government.
I
Excellent.
completely agree. You have one sitting to your left right here that wants his rights restored and be able to vote. How do they perceive that though? Is that would be across the board, or would that be just for non-violent criminals?
Right. There's 2 exceptions: sexual battery and murder. I would have to go through a full investigation. Right now, it's a 5-year waiting period, which is ridiculous, and they're dedicating so little money to reviewing these applications that they sit in a pile somewhere in a room in Tallahassee. The numbers are low. I think it's only been 90 that have been restored during the great Governor Scott's administration.
How's that department staffed? I know we've had some discussions about how, as far as reviewing those applications for the restoration of rights. Do you have any insight on that?
Well, the funny thing was when Chris was the governor for 4 years, he dedicated more money and employees. They restored 85,000 in the first year alone, and now it's just and the funny thing is, once Governor Scott took over, he signed an administrative order administering the 5 years, with probably the goal of just burying them somewhere and not even looking at them. The case would be with Chris. They had 85,000, like I just said, and they continued to have thousands and thousands. And then the budget, we had that budget crunch, and they took money away from people, and they actually at the beginning were very fair. They took people from other agencies and they said, review these applications, and it's like a trickle. I think it's been 90 in 5 or 6 years. You can't even get a hearing. No, it's terrible.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's unethical, unconscionable.
Well, I think, when people serve their time, there's a reason why you either serve your time or you do your probation,
Right.
Especially for non-violent criminals.
I would like to know what the main argument against it is. I don't understand, because we have people from both sides of the aisle fighting for this. I don't understand what is the main argument.
Well, again, we're only one of 3 states: Iowa, Kentucky, and Florida.
So what are they saying is the reason they don't want to do it? They just don't want people to have their rights back?
Yeah,
it's punishment.
Punishment. It's they shouldn't be able to vote.
Well, controlling votes. But
that's what I would think.
But look,
they're trying to keep certain people out of the voting pool.
I mentioned 3 states. Look at the other states that restore rights. Some of them there's a waiting period, like a year or 2, but it's automatic. After a year or 2, you have to do pay your fines, whatever you have to do. The whole South except for Kentucky, restores votes. You would think the South, which is more conservative, would do that, but it's just the governor's afraid he would lose a lot. Remember, he's running for senator. He needs those votes. We don't know if all these people are going to vote Democrat or Republican. They may not vote. They may vote as an independent or a third party, but they want their rights to vote, and they deserve it.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more on that side. And whether again Democrat, Libertarian or Republican, right. I think everybody should have the right to vote as long as they're a nonviolent criminal.
Yeah.
For the ACLU, we don't really care what you believe in. We just need your membership and support. Obviously, since November 8th, we've been doing pretty good around the country, but it's dying down a little bit. We have trainings on legal observation, legal participation. Training on protesting. We're doing lots of trainings in Florida, and we're trying to keep we've doubled membership, and we've increased our budget a lot since November 8th, and you can figure out why.
Yeah, there was recently a lot of cases that the ACLU got involved in. You want to talk about some of those key cases where they got more support than they traditionally have gotten?
Well, let me start with Broward County. First of all, there's been a lot of homeless litigation around the state. Tampa, we just settled a case where there was an unconstitutional ordinance about people keeping their property. And as you know, in Fort Lauderdale by Stranahan Park, there's been a lot of problems. We just sued them about a month ago. We're saying it was unconstitutional seizures without warrants or probable cause. They're destroying property. They're claiming they're saving the property when they're really not. And we got a big federal case in Broward County. But around the state, there's obviously people. Just explain the ACLU for a second. You have to be. It's got to be a complaint against a public agency, a public person, a state, city, local government, and not a private individual. And it has to be something in the Constitution or the U.S. Code, like the Civil Rights Act, where we can go forward. And I tried to bring a handout of our latest cases, but our legal director was out of town. But we've probably got at least a dozen cases in the state. And in Broward, our other case, besides the homeless cases, we're challenging the sexual offender registry requirements that you can't live within 1,000 feet or 1,500 feet of a school, a bus stop, a park, a place where kids congregate. And these are people that cases have been over for 10 years, and they just can't move around. They don't have the right to move under liberty. So we're challenging that in county court and hopefully get a favorable ruling on that.
Is there a middle ground there for like the type of offense?
Well,
I know that there are people who get on the sexual predator registry for even some like two teenagers sharing sexual texts between each other. There have been cases where the male will be put on the predator registry. So I think for a situation like that, that's different than someone that targets children.
Right.
So is there that? Does it have to be black or white? Is there
other states have different levels of when you have to report in and not report in. There's stricter requirements based on the nature of the offense. A more serious offense, you're right. You're definitely right about that. But people like Romeo and Juliet laws, where people are getting charged because the girl is 15 and the boy is 19 or something like that, and he's getting probation. There has to be a way to get off these registries, or not
even that. That ruins that teenager's life forever.
Yeah,
forever.
So we'd love the state government to consider levels in terms of the registry, but you have to be arrest free for basically 20 or 25 years to get off the registry. I've got a current case where they said come back in 6 months. He was about a year. He was about a year short, and he was perfect when he got out. And his case was so silly. And I think the judge wanted to do it, but she said just come